With me is Santana Champagne.
Hello, everyone.
What type of champagne are you? Cooks? Andre?
Probably like Pinot Grigio. Oh wait, that's a wine. Shit.
Good. Well, you're done.
Well,
I tried.
I can't even live up to my name. This is great.
Good job.
Anyway, welcome to Game 2 of the Trinity Force Bronze Boot Camp. That's all I got.
Oh, you were going to do plugs? You looked like you were setting up for plugs.
I thought I was, and then I forgot them all in my head.
All right, good job. Here's the plugs for this lovely afternoon or morning if you're on the West Coast. It's Trinity Force Podcast, part of the Trinity Force Podcast Network. We're Bronze Boot Camp, part of the Trinity Force Podcast Network. I'll learn plugs, trust me. But we've got 4 podcasts here relating around League of Legends. We got the Trinity Force proper. For those of you who haven't heard it, you need to listen to it. They talk about the game, break it down in the meta, get really complex with items, kind of discuss stuff, talk about patch notes, talk about just general meta changes, just things kind of like tightly knit. You know, you're wondering like, hey, is Titanic Hydra good? Yes, it is. And other stuff like that. Or if you're looking for something a little bit more simplistic or something that, you know, you can kind of ease yourself into a little bit better, we do have the 4 Wards podcast, which is kind of breaking down the game more of, I don't want to say basic level, but it's more of a sort of generic level where you can understand, like, why top lane's doing this, why jungles are like this, why mids are like this. So you can listen to that. If you want to hear about the pro scene and maybe keep caught up there if you can't watch all the games on the LCS, we do have the LCS Rundown. And that's a really good place to go and check out and find out what's going on across all regions and find out why exactly Fnatic was as good as they were at the split or why CLG suddenly won the split. If you want to know about the Oceanic scene, we do have the OzLO podcast and breaks down stuff over there. The Oceania, you know, that place that we never hear about. We do have a podcast for it. Now, I got to ask you, Santana, are you good at Hearthstone?
Am I good at... I played the precursor to Hearthstone, which is Magic the Gathering, and now Hearthstone's taken over. So no, I haven't, actually.
Okay, you just need to say no for this. I was trying to get set up here. You ruined it. We're done professionally.
That's what I'm best at. I'm really good at that.
If you want to get better at Hearthstone, Horse Doctor, our masters, and not only apparently Hearthstone and League of Legends, is making a Hearthstone podcast. So that'll be popping up here pretty soon. So keep your eye on iTunes and look for the, I think they're naming it Cardstone or Horsestone. Who knows? But just keep your ears open, and it'll be out here soon. We had a pick and ban.
And if you're, one more thing, really quick. And if you're looking to expand out into a different kind of gaming, we also have the T-Force RPG. We have a sign up on the Reddit. If you want to play things like D&D, Pathfinder, we're actually getting ready to do a Warhammer 40K game. So any of those pen and paper RPGs, we're working on that right now. So if you're interested in that, feel free to contact any of us or LeShock, and we can get you hooked up for something. Ooh. But yeah, let's get the pick ban.
Okay, pick ban. Garen Ari, a Heimerdinger. I don't know why you would ban Heimerdinger.
I think it was a reactionary ban, not realizing that the other person is not here. Although I don't think any of the... Oh, Gank played in that. No, I don't know why the Heimer was banned. I think it's those the Ahri and Heimer bans are more for the Zed pick. Heimer has a pretty good lane against Zed for the most part, unless Zed gets an early kill.
Yeah.
But overall, probably Heimer's probably not needed as a ban. It's a pocket pick most of the time.
Yeah.
On the other side, Yasuo, Skarner, Riven. A lot of Riven players after the arcade skin. Yasuo's popularity is going back up again after some minor tweaks and buffs over the past couple patches. And Skarner is just a monster on this patch. He shouldn't be allowed to ever exist ever again.
Well, that's a bit excessive.
I'm not a big fan of scorpions.
I mean, he's a crystal creature in the shape of a scorpion. Let's be realistic here.
And he's got like a weird mouthy yellow eye thing going on with his face. Alright, anyway. Semantics. We had an early Udyr pick coming out, followed by Zed Renekton, answered by Malphite Vayne, Blitz Rammus, Anivia Braum on the other side, and we're waiting on this last pick. What do you think of this pick ban so far?
So we got Malphite and Renekton. Sure, that makes sense. Malphite just going to be a big team fight guy. Vayne picked pretty early on. She does have to be concerned about just the amount of potential to dive. Ashe lock in, okay, sure. I haven't seen too much Rammus jungle. Should be interesting to see how it does against Udyr.
Yeah, I have. He fell off after. I think it was a taunt nerf, and then he just kind of fell out of the meta again.
Yeah,
he was popular, and then dipped off. Anivia's fine, and I think Anivia's actually very good in Zed. Passive keeps you from him all-inning you randomly. And it just should be able to shove him in as well once you get your R. Also, you get to build pretty tanky with Roa tier. It's a slow build path, but it even prevents more all-ins from Zed just because you have the extra health and the shield from Seraphs.
Yeah, Red Team's really looking kind of be building in sort of a pick composition.
That's what they're going to have to do. Renekton's going to have to dominate this lane early top lane and hopefully draw some jungle pressure from Udyr so Rammus can go around and get the upper lanes ahead. Because Renekton should be fine with a Udyr coming in. He can just slice and dice out of ganks, stun with his W. He's usually a pretty good top laner to pick if you just don't really want to worry about that kind of pressure from a jungler. You just get out whenever. But yeah, the rest of the team is going to have to make picks off Ashe Arrow, Blitz Hook, Rammus just powerballing at people. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty easy armor stack from blue side and just siege some turrets with Anivia. The thing I've noticed about purple here, not a lot of wave clear without going into melee range, Renekton Q, Zed like E with his shadow. Not the best. I would like to see a static Shiv out of Ashe to compensate for that. Just because Anivia is so good at pushing and sieging. On blue side, though, it looks like they've got a lot of engage here. Malphite for primary, Braum can follow it up or disengage. Even Anivia can land a nice stun to get something started, or Udyr can just run at people. And then it's just going to be, after that, it's going to be all about peeling for this Vayne. She'll shred through these high health targets pretty easily. With her W and Blade. And Anivia's Anivia. She's a giant ice bird that freezes things and creates good zone control, which will help this Vayne position a little bit better. Braum, too. Braum and Anivia are very good at creating zone control, and it allows you to split up composition. It's kind of like what a Gragas would do. You'd usually see Gragas with Vayne a lot, just because it can separate targets so Vayne can ISO one person. Anivia Braum can do the same thing as well, just R one side of the field with Anivia, Glacial Fissure the other side, and just separate the team out so Vayne can isolate targets and mow them down. I think it's a pretty good pick, man.
Red Team,
what were you going to say?
What I was going to say is Red Team's kind of working into a weird situation where they have a very AD-eccentric composition. Not a lot of bad damage coming from these guys. We've got Blitzcrank and Rammus, and that's about it. And they're not going to be dealing a whole lot of magic damage.
No.
So it kind of helps. That kind of leads into what you're saying with Ashe. Static Shift might be good because you might get that extra magic incremental damage might be really important here. But if this game goes on a little bit too long, especially if you're dealing with an Udyr and a Malphite Braum, they can itemize pretty effectively against you guys. So I would definitely make sure that if you guys get ahead early, you guys pressure that gold lead and try and make as much out of it as possible because you guys do have a lot of AD, and you got to get there before Anivia gets online. Because once Anivia's online, sieging is going to be near impossible for you guys.
Right. The thing I would like to see, I know it's probably not going to happen because I don't think Rammus can do this with his clear unless he gets a really good leash. I would actually like to see like a level 2 gank somewhere from Rammus just with Powerball Taunt. Because like we've stated, you guys have to get a lead early and you have to push that lead super hard. Because once this gets to like 25, 34, 35 minutes, that armor stacks are going to really come into play. And you're going to have a really tough time even damaging this team. It is a pretty tanky team when you all things considered with Udyr, Malphite, Braum. And then Anivia gets a little tankier. Going to be a lot to shred through.
Right.
The thing I could see red side doing, I could see a 1-3-1 here. Just with splitting with Renekton and Zed. Because the other side of the table doesn't really have that great of a split push counter. Anivia can hold the mid lane against the 3, but I wouldn't want to put Vayne into a Zed lane unless she has QSS. Or I don't even know who could... Well, Malphite could probably deal for Renekton later in the game, but early on it's going to be pretty hard. Oh, but this time we have everybody with a skin except the Blitzcrank.
Well,
Anivia. I'm sorry, and Braum. Okay, I'm just blind. I'm just not going to point out skins anymore because I can't tell the difference.
You okay? Talk about it.
It's it's the rain outside. It's really making me kind of sad. I could use a hug.
How does rain make you sad?
Because it means I can't. We've had too much rain this year. This is going to be like inch number 200 or something. It's going to be
clearly you're not from California.
Clearly, I live in the Midwest. Yeah. If I could, I'd mail California some rain, but
don't. What?
Exactly.
Do you know how hard that would be for the post office?
Did you just roll a dice on your table?
No. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard.
I want to talk about it.
Advertising for our T-Force RPG.
I bought a pound of dice.
Yes, you did. Anyway, we're getting loaded into this game. Let's see what we got here. As it does its weird spectator bug.
Nah, it's loading. Give it a minute. Just slap it around a bunch. It'll work. Hey!
Hey! Must be the money. And
you
here
know
we
that
go.
reference.
Game 2 today. Pretty standard. No, not very standard. How do you feel about boot start on Anivia?
Oh, boot start? Yeah, that's meh.
Is it?
I'd probably go Flask instead. I would imagine the boots so you can dodge shurikens early on, but
I mean, if you're gonna go with sustain start, I agree. Flask is probably the better option.
Right.
Doran's might be also. Doran's is always a consideration on AP laners, unless your name is Katarina or Akali. I could even see a health crystal start, although I'm not a fan of that. If you want to try and really get your Roa early. And we are currently
without a Malphite.
Oh, I hope they paused if he didn't come in.
Hey guys, /pause is the thing.
Oh. Zed in the bush getting some early damage on Anivia. Look at that. Oh. That's the problem with not starting Doran's.
Low health.
Or anything. You have no HP and Zed can Zed's in no man's land. The exhaust?
Okay, didn't necessarily need to burn exhaust. It's Zed.
I think what Braum thought was going to happen. We can't pause these games from here. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
The thing that Braum thought, if Anivia followed up with that, what did Anivia start with? She didn't pick an ability, so she could have stunned. If they got the stun off on Zed from the Braum passive, Anivia could have skilled her. Is it Q? I believe it's her Q. Not Anivia play. I don't know these things. Yeah, it's her Q. So they could have got a double stun off and potentially killed the Zed.
Just as a few reference, guys, you guys can pause the game if you type in /pause. That way, when you have somebody who is AFK, you can wait for them to reconnect, because connection issues do happen. But yeah, /pause, do that.
Yeah, pause it then. Please do.
There you go.
All right.
Hey! So,
yeah, but going back to that, if you're gonna... I mean, it's really hard, especially in a solo queue environment, to just kind of be like, yo, go, keep going, don't walk away. Spam pings or something, try to get that Anivia's attention, make sure she keeps autoing. That could have been at least a flash burned, but you're never sure about that. But
in all honesty, I think in that situation, it was just Braum and Anivia. I don't think even with exhaust being burned, I don't think that would have even brought out a kill, let alone any summoner's burn.
It could have. I think because Anivia hadn't skilled yet, so she could have taken the Q after the Braum stun passive. They could have just Q'd again.
I think
Zed again.
I think it's very optimistic.
Sure, but it's something to look at. I mean, yeah, the correct play, for one, Zed shouldn't be that far up with no vision.
True.
Two, probably don't just... Yeah, you got the Q off. Go ahead, back out. Zed's not going to chase that any further. Because Anivia did need the back there, so she could get back to lane with full health instead of starting at 200 HP in a Zed lane. Not ideal.
Right.
Let's see. What else we got going on? Longsword 3 on Renekton. Thoughts?
In a Malphite, I'm not too familiar with how Renekton likes to play in lane.
I played a lot of Renekton last season. I don't know how he's doing this year, but from what I recall, The thing about Longsword is, especially into melee matchups with Renekton, yeah, you get a little more AD, but the sustain on Doran's is going to help you more in the long run, and it's the extra HP as well, because you're going to be up close to this Malphite. He's going to slow your autos. It's going to be pretty much a slugfest. I mean, Malphite's not going to do as much damage, but it's two pretty hefty top laners going at it. So my personal preference for Renekton is Doran's 1, but if you're not confident that you're going to stay in and make sure you get those autos off of Doran's, Longsword 3 is also acceptable. Yeah.
Anybody in this game, if you guys are still in pause, let me know.
Yeah, if you somehow have the stream open and like to listen to us 3 minutes behind, please let us know if things are still going. I'm asking them what to do. Okay.
I am not rapping for you.
Are you sure, Kargan? I could throw a sick beat down right now. Boom.
You're fired! Alright. Sparkle Dragon, what's the sit rep here? Malphite return?
Yeah. Give us the lowdown.
Sparkle Dragon.
Sparkle. Huh. I'm AFKing. I mean, I'm asking. Big difference there.
Okay, he's back. Woo!
Alright, so
we can talk about this game a little bit more. So
yeah, let's break some things down. Early junglers, Udyr versus Rammus. How do you think that's gonna go?
I don't know too much about Rammus jungle. Jungling is not my super area expertise.
Okay.
I feel like Udyr could invade Rammus if he wanted to.
Yeah, Udyr's a pretty strong jungler with invading. Also, it looks like, if I'm seeing that right, it looks like Ashe and Blitz actually leached XP from Rammus.
Ooh.
Because he's only level 1 to Udyr's level 2. That's going to make his blue buff clear really hard. He might have to back after that. Not quite sure how that happened. I wasn't really watching the leash. But for bot laners, AD carry supports, make sure you don't do that, because that does set your jungler behind, and that could lead to some situations where, okay, now Udyr's got an advantage. He's a level up before you get your second buff. Now he's going to pressure the map before Rammus can even think about responding.
I would recommend, too, if you're in a situation where, like, let's say bot lane accidentally leeches a little bit of XP because, oops, it happens, lag, whatever. Yeah. You don't necessarily have to go right into your blue buff right after that, because that's going to be a hard get. As Rammus, you could probably go and hit Scuttle Crab or hit the Wolf Camp and then double back to blue buff. That way you're not getting completely demolished by the golems, because those guys hit pretty hard.
Yeah, it looks like he got half XP from that camp, so let's see who actually took that. Ashe and Blitz, but Blitz got... Yeah, it looks like Blitz got the other half of that. Because Ashe only has about a minion of XP right now.
Yeah.
Also, just even, like, I think you said, just go take a different camp. Even, like, have the supports stick around for a second. Because if you can identify the lane matchup, Ashe Braum pushing into you probably isn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, Vayne Braum pushing into you. That creates easy ganks. Good hook early.
Oh.
Is this Ashe? I think the Ashe is AFK.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Oh, God. That's... Well, that's unfortunate. Alright, well, this game has got off to a solo QS start, so...
Sure, we'll go with that, solo QS.
I mean, it happens. I mean, yesterday, for example, I had to... Our mid laner was AFK, so I had to take support Morgana. Oh, good hook by Blitz again. I had to take support Morgana into a lane against mid lane Zyra until he got back 15 minutes later. So things like this happen. It's unfortunate that in a controlled circumstance like this it happened, but we'll make do. Renekton really pushing that lane in early. Malphite's trying the freeze? No, it doesn't look like he's trying the freeze. He's shoved in the turret.
So
Pause the... Ashe is back, though. Alright. Anyway, sorry. Renekton with a pretty big advantage top lane, just pressuring it in, making Malphite miss CS under tower.
So, it's a good time to learn a lesson about playing safe, because like early kills happen, and unfortunately in this situation, Genki was not around. You definitely don't want to start shoving the lane. You want to try and freeze as much as you can. Ooh, Udyr coming in for a camp.
Yep, Udyr's mid, good wall, good stun.
That's a flash.
Anivia has no mana though, so we can't really finish that one off. Again, Blitz with another hook bot lane, but Braum gonna prevent
Very nice.
anything from Ashe there. Ashe went back and got a pink ward. Sure, but probably if you get killed early, just get more pots so you can stay in the lane longer.
Yeah, pushing up. Yeah.
The thing about getting killed early is you're going to be at a huge XP disadvantage. So the most important thing is to not die in the lane. 2, just make sure you can stay. So you want to stay in there as long as you can. Another good hook.
You gotta be careful with these hooks though, because Ashe is still levels
Ashe
behind.
is really low. She still has summoners up, but there's a huge minion wave here.
Okay. Good job, minion wave.
Oh, he started it. I don't know if flash was necessary. Udyr's coming down. Okay, Ashe needs to run. She's again with the minions. Just attack.
Oh.
That's okay. Alright, well. Got the early kill on Vayne, and I understand you want to get some more CS to push. Well, they did succeed in pushing that in the tower, so Vayne's gonna miss a lot here.
Yeah.
But you got the kill, you're already at like 10%. Just back off. Go ahead.
Yeah, take advantages where you can. Don't get too greedy with them, because unfortunately you can get punished for it. You're pushing out without too much ward coverage, and Udyr kind of just showed up. And Udyr's really good at ganks.
Yeah, he's really good, especially if you're not a very mobile carry, Ashe or Varus, things like that. Yeah, Udyr's just gonna run at you, flash bear slap you, and then, well, he doesn't have flash in this case, but yeah, just get the easy stun.
Yeah.
Especially with the Braum flash in there to get the slow on Ashe, she was pretty much dead. I don't think she probably shouldn't even burn flash there. Just keep that up. Renekton doing Renekton things top lane, just dominating the lane. Malphite's already burned through everything. Renekton still has 2 pots. You could very easily think about diving here, especially with your 6 power spike, and Malphite's not 6 yet with no mana.
Yeah.
You have... I'd get your rage up a little bit more. There you go. Yep, there you go. Just... Oh, you should have just ulted there. But he does burn the flash. He's going to get a big advantage here. He's already got a pretty good CS lead. Yeah, but that's Renekton things.
Oh, Malphite, go back to base. You being
Udyr's there, but yeah, Renekton already backed off.
Yeah.
Because you could have very easily seen a flash E into stun from Renekton there. His closing range is very deceptive if he has flash up, especially if he goes through a minion. So just be cognizant of that. What looks like, oh, he can't get to me, is all of a sudden, oh my god, I have a lizard murdering me.
He got to me.
Yep. Lizard man is now slicing my face off.
Yeah.
Let's see, early mid lane. Nivea goes for an early tier here, and Zed gets a null magic. Looks like Zed might pick up an early Hex Drinker after that. I think getting... What do you feel about getting Roa for tier, or vice versa?
I think stacking tier first and foremost, especially on Anivia,
is more important than getting the...
Yeah, because you're already, like, if you're picking Anivia, you're looking for late game. I think the tier, ooh, good stun.
Yep. Blitz has been hitting a majority of his hooks in this lane. The thing, oh, Ram is coming in. Braum misses the Q. Good flash. Got the taunt. Let's just go ahead and pop your ult. Heals burned. Alright. Ooh, Braum almost eat into that one.
Yeah.
Zed coming bot lane too. They should see this and they should back off. Vayne's not backing off. Vayne, back off. There's the pings, but I mean, if you don't even tempt that. Zed's level 7. He's got a little bit of damage and he still has Ignite up. That's spell trouble.
Oh.
Good hook by Blitz though. That's get out.
Hey, there you go.
Probably could have just autoed. TP fight coming down now.
Oh, TP.
2-man ult by Malphite. But here's that Renekton.
Ta-da.
Okay, so things that happen there.
Break it down for me.
Alright, let's break this down. So, Zed pushed Anivia in, she's low on mana, she's got to clear the wave. So he roams down. Sat on that ward for a good, 30 seconds?
Yep.
Sure, they got the stun in the Rammus, but you still have to realize Blitz has hookup now. Zed's there as well, so the kill pressure is rather large. Probably should just be getting those minions there, Vayne. Don't worry about the Blitz. You're not going to kill him. So, one of two things could have happened. Other than the kills that just happened. Anivia tries to follow down. You have passive up, that might be an okay idea. The second thing, blue team just has to back off completely and concede that you're going to lose some farm there, go back, heal, lose some CS. That's probably the other thing that should happen. Or you try and pick a bad fight there. So this is before the TP. After the Renekton comes down, Malphite got there first. Malphite TP's in after Braum got killed. I think at that point when Braum goes down and Vayne's just kinda low and she doesn't have too much going on there, you probably just cancel that TP and let it be a 1-for-1. You don't worry about the rest of that.
Well, I think the big thing to think about too is like Zed's bot lane, Anivia shoving mid. You don't have to do anything. You guys are technically winning that. That's all there is to it. Anivia just needs to keep pushing, and you guys just need to sit safe for a little bit. Yeah. Don't have to pressure. Don't have to fight for anything.
Nope.
Malphite TP was probably unnecessary considering the fact Udyr was topside as well. So you guys weren't going to get numbers advantage.
There comes Zero. Well, missed hook though. Ashe takes a lot of damage. Nothing comes of that. Except Rammus going in.
Forcing it way too hard.
Yeah. Oh, is he gonna live?
Yeah.
Totally just lived.
Just barely. Guys,
and there's a stun coming. Yeah.
You guys are trying to force things way too hard right now.
Yup. And that's gonna be a kill for Vayne. Yep.
Once the Ashe arrow went off and there was no follow-up from Rammus or anybody else like that, you guys should just back off.
Yeah. Blitz hook misses, Ashe arrow goes in, and then Ashe just takes a chunk. Go ahead, just back off. Sure you're down a big ult there, and Rammus theoretically wasted his time, but it's better than just giving up 2 kills there and just chasing mindlessly into Braum. Braum's very good at peeling, and especially with his stun passive, it's a little dicey just to keep chasing, especially with Vayne.
Yes.
Anivia now starting to really chunk out this Zed. That's a stun coming in. Has to burn flash there. Zed with the early Merc's home guard.
I don't think you need to buy Mercs with home guard like right off the bat. You want to complete some damage items first before anything else, so you can actually trade with the Nivs.
I think the big thing for Zed, especially into AP matchups where you're going to get poked out a decent amount, he got that early Vamp Scepter. I liked that. Probably just go in the Hex Drinker, just so you can brawl a little bit more, have a little bit more resistances. And then, because you went Hex Drinker, you're probably not getting Brutalizer this game. So just go ahead and finish your Bork.
Yeah.
And then you can get Mercs and all that other stuff. Oh, this might be a dead Ashe here.
Oh. Yeah.
Good ult. Yep, she just kind of walked up with no flash.
Oh,
but Blitz with the hook?
Okay.
Gonna even that out. That's fine.
Yeah. That's probably best case scenario there.
1-for-1.
Oh, Braum's out of mana.
He might...
Nah.
You might be able to get this. Yep.
Ooh.
Ooh. Fancy feet. But Zed's coming down.
Braum has any summoners.
Braum has no mana, yeah. It's pop.
Oh.
Alright. So, again, things. Late on the ping for Anivia saying Zed's missing. Probably as soon as Zed even walks close or... See, I don't know what pathing Zed took there, if he walked through that pink ward or not. But if Zed's ever gone, you have to let... Oh, alright.
Well then.
You have to let your team know that, hey, Zed's gone, he could be anywhere.
Right.
Don't go so aggressive. Things that could have prevented that, bot side, blue side didn't have any wards at all. I don't know if Braum just got that Sightstone, didn't quite see that.
Mm.
But at least with a Zed, you probably want to keep that Tribe Rush warded. Because Zed can just E over walls, that Dragon Wall, and get behind you pretty easy. He's most likely not going to come down through River. And Rammus with the gank mid lane. Nivea burns Flash, nothing comes of it.
Doing an okay job, Rammus, with ganks, but if Zed's used his ultimate recently, he's not going to have a whole lot of kill pressure on Anivia. Even with a good taunt.
Especially with passive up still. I mean, he didn't burn Ignite, so if they did get enough upfront burst there, it looks like Zed still had Blade Pass, or Bilgewater passive too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Zed.
Yeah, Zed's fine.
Yeah.
Zed has Shadow, Zed has Slow. Clear that pink out. Let's look at the ward situation right now. Renekton just had 2 wards topside, and he's actively buying wards here. He comes back to lane with a pink and a green, making sure that Udyr doesn't come back top. He's thoroughly winning top lane, so that's good, keeping his advantage there.
Mm-hmm.
Malphite has an early upgraded Stealth Totem, also good. Forcing this again, Rammus.
Well.
Okay, good arrow, though. Managed to get the Vayne. And there's a TP in. Renekton's is also up. But, yeah.
Yup.
Late TP, Renekton shouldn't even bother at this point.
Yup. Now he's...
They'll pick up one here. But...
With Vayne's... Whoa.
Ash's... Slow Flash. Oh.
Probably shouldn't have kept pushing Renekton. Like... Once you get to the point to where you guys can disengage safely, just disengage.
Yep.
Trying to hand out more kills is not a wise situation. Like you guys got the trade back after that TP. It's fine. You got one back.
Yeah. And Ashe overstays a little bit here, but she should be fine. And
yeah.
She should walk back to tower. Because here comes the Anivia.
Yeah.
Anivia probably should just loop around and go back to mid or base.
Yeah.
Zed does manage to pick up the turret at mid lane though.
Mm-hmm.
Which now, even more so, your side lanes need to be warding your jungle, because now Zed has so much more roaming opportunities because he's gotten the mid lane turret.
Uh-huh.
So, like, I would like to see from either Udyr or Anivia, like, a ward in that, not the Pixel Brush, but the one right by blue, in case Zed decides to go top lane and try and gank this Malphite. They're doing okay job on scuttle control, blue side. Let me see what else, whatever wards we have going. But their vision's pretty... Not really past the halfway point as Udyr's counter jungling topside.
Mm-hmm. I would also consider Tuplets. Once you get Sightstone, upgrade your sweeper. And I would also buy a couple of pinks because you are dealing with a Vayne. Whom, if she wants to press R, whom is also ahead, you got to make sure you got your eyes on her at all times.
Correct. Especially... I forget it now and then too. I'm sure you do as well. Zed trying to go in.
No.
That's an... Yeah, I mean... Not... Wow, and they're... That's the thing about Anivia. You can't really all-in that. Ooh, Udyr's gonna chase us through turret. I don't know if that's...
That's first turret.
Yeah, second turret, yep. Just Udyr things. Arrow misses from Ashe. Gonna try and face check this Udyr?
No, don't do that.
Where's your... Yeah, where's you have to...
Rammus?
Yeah, Rammus. He doesn't have flash, that's a kill, but
Yeah.
that could have been executed without Ashe burning flash there.
Yes.
So what bot lane has to realize, this turret's going to go down pretty soon. You see the Udyr run through second tier and then take a bank right. Just go ahead and collapse on that. Just Ashe had the right idea of collapsing, but the rest of them have to go as well. Because Udyr could have, even at half health with the items, it looks like he's going Trinity Force after Devourer, could easily 1v1 that Ashe.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
So I'd like to see like a loop around there, just a group collapse. They got it eventually with Rammus. Good hook. That's going to lead to a big Braum ult, though.
This could be dangerous.
Nah, nothing's going to really happen there. Rammus has been spending a lot of time on the spot side, which is fine. This Renekton's been doing pretty well top, but Malphite's getting to the point where he can deal with the Renekton damage.
Where's the ult? There it is.
Vayne going ham, bot, yep.
So, when you're behind, and Vayne's pretty far ahead at this point, you don't want to be pushing the tower and not expecting any sort of rebuttal for these guys. You're dealing with the Braum Vayne. Ashe can't just run away.
Yeah.
If Vayne wants to pull the trigger,
up.
she will, and that's exactly what you saw there.
And I saw a mixed decision there. If you notice that Zed and Rammus went to Dragon, while Blitz and Ashe try to push the tower. You need to follow up. People have to stay together. So either you're all going to go Dragon, or you're all going to push down that bottom lane tower. Instead, you give up 2 kills Dragon and bot lane turret.
I normally have a very good a good philosophy when it comes to sort of playmaking decisions and who to follow. I find the most fed person on my team, and if they're like, we're doing Dragon, I'm going to go do Dragon. Want to know why? Because the person with the most gold sitting there, and if a fight happens, I want to make sure the fed one's in the team fight.
Right. So in this case, that's going to be your Zed. Your Zed's even in CS, but he's up in kills and assists on the Anivia, so he's definitely the most fed one on your team.
Right.
So just go ahead, stay around that Zed. Which seems counterintuitive because Zed is always seen as a split pusher. But if you're going to force Dragon, you need to be together. Or Rammus has to communicate, hey, like real quick, come Dragon, or ping it out. Whoa, I don't know about this. Yep, there's a Malphite. Alright, so what happened there? No vision, walking by a bush, and Anivia gets an easy stun, easy chunk.
Yep.
At that point, Zed just needs to get out. Shouldn't even try to fight that. Sure, she has passive down, but you still don't have enough damage to deal with that Anivia. Because she has Roa at this point. She's getting tanky-ish.
Yeah, Anivia has an early elixir running. What are your thoughts about that?
Wait, does she really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. So, the thing about early elixir, sure, it's going to give you that really good power boost there. And you get true damage occasionally. Oh, we got some action bot side. That's a dead Rammus. A little late on the air. Oh, Zed's here too, though. No ult, though, because he just used it on the Anivia.
Gotta play around those ultimates.
I don't know if I like early elixir. I guess it's fine if you're still stacking your scaling items. Oh, this is an overchase. Udyr should probably be helping that. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but Udyr probably should have stopped his back just to make sure they for sure got those kills, but they cleaned it up anyway.
You're dealing with Vayne Braum. Like, again, Vayne is ahead. You guys keep trying to pick these fights where it's like a 2v2. It's an even-up fight, and unfortunately, Vayne's just too far ahead.
And Braum's probably one of the best champions if you're just going to run at him. Gets a slow, and then it's easy kiting. Rammus is overcommitting to this blue buff, and there's the Vayne. Alright, so this one's snowballing really hard in Vayne's favor. What could Red Team do to try and wheel this one back here.
If you're picking a fight, you have to put everything on to Vayne, which is hard to say because it's like Brahm's been doing a pretty good job so far peeling, but that's where the gold is. And when you deal with a situation where somebody's snowballed out of control, you have to put all of your focus on where all the gold's sitting, and that's on Vayne. Because I would say the bulk majority of this gold lead is sitting with Vayne.
Yeah. Yeah. Malphite actually trying to even the top lane out. He's got his Sunfire, he's got some Merc Treads. And this Renekton, who was doing really well early game, that he's starting to fall off a little bit. Oh, good stun. Good pull in the stun by Blitz. Again, Rammus by himself, though.
Yeah. Rammus keeps trying to find these sort of, like, taunt picks. You have to find... You have to have backup to do that. And
see, he... Oh, another good... This Blitz has been hitting his hooks very well, but this lead just might... They can just kind of run.
Yeah.
Vayne dies here. That's a big shutdown for Ashe, but... Oh, and Udyr dies.
No.
Sparkle Dragon pushing that mid lane. Interesting ward.
That might have been a little too close to tower there, bud. Good idea, though.
Might have just been a misclick. Might have tried to hit Blade or something. Could have had it on a different passive. Don't go in on that. I know you want to, but Malphite has ult up. And he's also got an armor item and a little bit more armor.
Yep.
The thing I've been noticing is, I think we said this briefly before they started trying to murder each other again. Rammus just keeps going in by himself. You haven't finished your jungle item. You should have finished your jungle item way before then. I understand trying to get Frozen Heart with a fed Vayne, but Cinderhulk's going to do more in the long run than finishing that Frozen Heart will.
Right.
So get that Cinderhulk. I keep on calling Juggernaut. Cinderhulk done, and then you can get your Frozen Heart, your Randuin's, your Thornmail, and just peel for your Ashe, peel for your other carries. You don't have to be the hero and go 1v4 and solo the Vayne. You're Rammus, you're not going to do that.
Right.
So just go ahead, use your Powerball to knock up Udyr or whoever's running at your Ashe, taunt that guy in the tower, and then go ahead and try and clean up the fight from there. Yeah, you have to focus the Vayne down. But if you're just suiciding randomly, it's not going to help either. Good stun. Vayne solos Ashe somewhere. Alright. Vayne's coming in from behind here. If they're not careful, this could be a
bloody mess.
Don't go Vayne spotting, though. Good Braum ult. Really.
Wow.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was talking about with Braum. Is that ult just separated everybody out. They couldn't stay in that quarter, so 3 of them went topside. Blitz kind of came down to Vayne, isolates the target for Vayne, easy kill. Which is good, they're playing their comp well. They should just easily siege this tower down, and Anivia's got about half mana. And she's got her 2 core items completed as well, Vayne as well.
Yep.
Again, yep. Right, you can't just run at them, Rammus, especially if Anivia there too. This team comp is very good at preventing people from running at you with Anivia, Malphite slow, Braum Qs, ults. And it's gonna be a second dragon. So they're controlling their objectives as well. They blue side. Once again, ward up that top side jungle of red teams. Get those waves pushed up, and yeah, just starve them out of gold.
Yep.
Push them in the towers, make them lose CS.
Yeah, at this point too. Yeah, just get deep wards in. You have a Vayne at this point who
is massive.
Is a raid boss, for lack of a better term. So you can pretty much just work around Vayne and just pressure whatever you want. But at this point in time, you guys are so far ahead. You guys can just group and take whatever you want. You've got sieging power with a Niv.
Yep. What I would like to see is, Blitz is up too far by himself. I understand trying to get deep wards, but you're so far behind. Probably not the best idea there. If anything, just ward up your jungle and turtle behind your towers. There's no reason for you to be all the way on their red side jungle.
Correct.
Zed's trying to do the correct thing here and just split down these towers. if they really start sieging your inhibs, I would advise that to just group at this point. They don't have the wave clear to really hold against the Nivea shoving into your inhib towers. Vayne's by herself. Oh, here comes Vayne.
So, don't stand in the middle of nowhere and start typing, because I know that's exactly what just happened there.
Or
we just witnessed.
Yep.
Like, you just got scryed out, and you're gonna start typing. No, don't do that.
I understand this game's probably frustrating. Save it for post-game chat if you really want to say something, but just probably nothing you can say here would really be relevant. I mean, you can't really type out everything you should be doing right now to get back in this game. Take way too long. Just try and get the little things you can. Go to other lanes, try and pick up some CS here and there, get some wards down, and just kind of stick with your team. Standing out in the middle lane is not going to help, really. Renekton has Titanic Hydra now, and Asho coming through, hits the Malphite. Doesn't look like they're going to pick up anything here.
No, they just don't have the damage.
Blue team's just too tanky at this point. Once again, this is what we were talking about in pick ban. If this composition fell behind early, which it did. Oh, good hook.
I mean,
Malphite's not going to take any damage, though.
Yeah, Malphite's kind of just full armor because he doesn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
I don't even think you need a flash, buddy. You're pretty durable.
You don't have ult. You can't go in on that. Yep. Pretty standard Vayne stuff. You can't shadow in there. I understand you want to save this tower. It's gonna go. Just go ahead, fall back to your inhib one. Especially without ult, you're definitely not killing this Vayne.
Yeah. Just as a quick comparison, like Vayne sitting on has about 14,000 or has a little 14,000 gold. That's a lot of money to have on one champion. And the richest person on the team is in fact Zed, but he only has 8,700 gold.
What's with a nice outplay there? He gets Vayne dead and he burns the Braum flash, so because they dove a little too hard.
Nope.
That's how you can throw away these kind of leads, is thinking we're so far ahead it doesn't matter what we do.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just don't dive needlessly if you don't have to. If it's going to be a dive where you're going to kill 4 of them and take an inhib and end the game, yeah, go ahead do that. But if it's just like, I'm going to kill this Ashe who's died like 10 times already, not probably worth it.
No.
This pretty big gold lead. You're probably not going to be able to contest your own buffs at this point, thankfully. Blue buff isn't that important to red team. We'll pick this one up here. The big thing right now is try and get wards in your red side jungle for red team. Because Baron is a very real option with a 16, 4, and 7 Vayne who has Bork. Too many items at this point. Too many items.
Yeah.
She can burn that down really easy, especially with Trinity Force, Udi, or Devourer. Questionable ult by Zed. Especially against Vayne, be aware of like what walls are near you and try to avoid those, because yes, you got the ult off, but then she just stunned you into a wall and it didn't matter. Also, you don't have enough damage to really kill her out.
But, okay. He's got 1,400 gold. There we go. He's finally spending money.
No, what just happened, he sold his Maw.
Oh.
He had Maul of Malmortius completed, and he just sold that. He's going to try and get Infinity Edge.
No, don't do that. Well, no, don't do that.
Yeah, if you have an item completed, especially when you're 13k behind, or even if you know you're just like a hefty amount behind, don't sell items. Because now that Maul is going to help you a lot more. Oh, good arrow, but a little bit in vain. Maybe.
That was an Udyr, actually.
Alright, they hold that tower for now. Losing Renekton. But the worst thing you can do when you're behind is sell items to try and, like, get something that's probably not going to help you that much. Oh. Vayne dead? Vayne dead.
Sure. But that's
but
a little too late.
I mean, yep, Malphite. Yep, that. Well, here's Renekton. Does he have ult? Nope.
I mean, they're
he's
still
doing
going
it right
one
now.
by one.
Yeah, this is the thing I was talking about. Don't overly dive. You probably could have just kited back a little bit easier and got an inhib.
Yeah.
And any gold that. Oh. Anivia passive. Malphite's gonna clean that up.
Nah. You're up.
Yep.
Only just barely. Rammus, buddy.
Gotta stop chasing.
The team's gone.
All the stuns. Alright. So, just. Blue team's just go get dragon. It's their dragon. That'll help even more with the kiting.
Yep.
Yeah. So what do we think as how long this takes to close this one out, but should be fairly quick, because Vayne looks like she's going for GA at this point. Correct decision, you're so far ahead. Zed. Vayne gets the kill. Zed dies. Vayne's gonna pick up another kill because she can 1v5 at this point. So that should be.
Go get the
Yeah, they're pinging the inhib.
Yeah. Either
I
or.
mean, they're closer to Dragon. There's 3 in mid lane, so they can't do that without the rest of their team coming up. Dragon's just a safer bet. There you go. 3rd Dragon. Now you can go mid lane. Force that inhib. Vayne, just go. I understand your red's up. Just stick with your team. You're the most fed carry on your team. Just go ahead, force that inhib down. Red buff can wait. Another good Braum ult. He's been on point with those for the most part.
Yeah.
And if Vayne was here, it would have just been a free cleanup. They'll probably still get. Oh.
All of it.
Yeah, all of it. But it could have been without burning Braum Flash, and it's just little nitpicky things. It's not like that's going to cost you the game right there, but in closer games that could. Just stick with your team, group for these objectives. Anivia probably should come down too. Malphite can deal with the Zed at this point. He has TP as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but going back to what I was saying earlier, things that could have been done earlier. Red team was actually doing a pretty good job. Outside of that, like, unfortunate DC kill to start the game off.
A lot of this game kind of fell apart. Oh, Sparkle Dragon, you're gonna just explode.
Yeah. Like, Zed was doing well mid lane, staying even with the Anivia, and got the tower before Anivia, and started roaming. But some forced dives, some bad fights, just kind of peeled that one off, and it looks like we're gonna get end game here.
A lot of this game. A lot of this game is
gonna
just
auto the Nexus. Don't go for more kills.
Nah, it's more fun this way. A lot of this game kind of broke down when Red Team started to really try and commit to killing Vayne and pushed it so far to where they were giving away free kills, and that's not what you want.
Rammus was overcommitting on some plays by just chasing way too far. The entire team was chasing way too far in some games.
Oh yeah. So let's grab the match here. Let's go ahead and throw it on the screen like this.
Yeah, the one thing you have to recognize is recognize what your team's good at, recognize what their team's good at, and try and avoid situations where you're putting yourself at disadvantageous positions. That was a hard word for me.
Yeah.
So like I'm saying, just don't run at them. They're really good at running away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we see this one was actually a lot closer than the last game. Up until about 16 minutes, the gold was pretty much even, and then it exploded.
Yes.
Vayne just started getting all the kills.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. They got all the kills. breaking down statistics, let's look at ward coverage real quick because ward's still important in a game like this. Brahm's got 27 wards, Blitzcrank 22. Doing okay on the ward there. 2 vision wards coming in from Braum, none from Blitzcrank. In a game when you're behind, vision wards defensively are kind of really important.
Especially from your junglers too. If junglers should be warding not quite as much as your supports, because unless you're going Sightstone, which I do recommend, but that's also preference. They should be warding. They should be up there in ward placements as well. As we see for Rammus, Hughes almost has less wards than his Ashe, who is the AD carry. Which tells me that, one, he's not purchasing wards, or he's just not using his trinket. He probably switched out for sweeper, so that means he's just not purchasing them. And when a game snowballs like this, the best thing you can do, and we'll say it again, ward your jungle, ward places so you don't get caught, and you can actually move around the map without getting picked by this Vayne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're dealing with Vayne, ping ward's super important.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 9 times out of 8, you need to ping ward against Vayne. What I mean is have an extra one ready to go, because when she hits final hour, you want to just drop that ping ward and say, no, you don't do that.
Rammus actually didn't switch his trinket. He still had sweep. He still had warding up, so he probably should have upgraded that at some point if you were just going to keep it.
Mm-hmm. In fact, nobody has a sweeper here on red team. But
I can understand that. Sure, Blitzcrank probably should definitely have a sweeper.
Yeah.
You have a sight zone, get sweeper. But if you're getting pushed that far in, I think having vision of your own map is more important than denying the enemy vision. Because, sure, you can deny their wards, but you still don't know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you're still going to get picked out if you're walking through your jungle or whatnot.
Yes and no. I mean, like, at a certain point, too, like, you can buy a couple of wards as well. And I think upgraded pink trinkets would have been really good in this game.
I think that would have been, too, especially with the Vayne.
Buy a couple greens, have that ready to go. That way, when you do decide you want to fight Vayne, you can drop that and just say, okay, we fight here.
Yeah. But just keep hammering home. Wards, wards, wards.
Yeah,
they'll help you if you're behind. They'll help you if you're ahead. They'll keep you safe. They can even help you get a mortgage on your house. You never know.
No, I know that one's not true. I can't just hand a green ward to my guy and be like, oh, okay, rent spade. I'll see you next week.
I mean, you could try.
will.
You don't know until you try. All right, so let's get back on topic here.
Let's talk about builds, champions, all that jazz.
Builds. All right. Udyr. Yep. Devourer. Pretty standard. There is a split. Some Udyr players that go Cinderhulk. If you're actually planning on going Trinity Force, Devourer is fine. Really, you can look at your team comp and say, yeah, I don't need to be as tanky this game. I don't need the Cinderhulk because I have a Malphite, I have a Braum. I can get away with a little bit more damage. And especially if this team fell behind and Anivia didn't scale up as well as she did, I could see a lack of damage. I mean, she does have the highest AP rotation, one of the highest AP rotations in the game, but if Vayne fell behind or Anivia fell behind, these are champions that take time to scale. I could see getting more damage on her Udyr, so I don't have a problem with that.
It's a situation they were ahead, and
a lot of this comes down to, all right, I have... Actually, Udyr wasn't part of very many kills. It was mainly the Braum and Vayne just 2v5ing.
Right. It was the Braum and Vayne show.
Yeah, but they still had the influx of gold coming in, like, from the towers, the objectives.
What I will say about the build is when Devour is always going to be a greedy item. It's greedy. 9 times out of 10, Devour is a greedy item. You need time to scale it up. You need to be in your jungle. You need to be farming. Ganking lanes isn't necessarily your top priority. And when you're dealing with a team composition like this one where it needs time to scale, like you've got Anivia Vayne, you need time to scale up and get that damage going. If this game had been a little bit more even, per se, like let's say Vayne didn't do as well in lane and Rammus was hitting lanes pretty well with his ganks, a Cinderhulk build would have been a lot better. You could have gone into something a little bit more durable. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Cinderhulk sort of Hydra or Titanic Hydra coming from Udyr's.
Mm-hmm.
I see that being kind of useful, actually.
It could be. Once again, both of us aren't junglers. We're also nowhere close to being Udyr players, but that's just from what we're seeing.
It's a more durable build in a situation where you're not as ahead. A more durable build would help.
Build is always going to be better on your junglers and your top laners, for the most part.
It's something to keep in mind, like in future games where you're dealing with champions that need time to scale. and you need to hit lanes and need to have the presence earlier.
You should never be locked into a build path. Sure. There's no situation where, all right, this is the build path I go every single game. You should be able to recognize situations going on in your games and be like, all right, so my top laner is a little bit behind. Maybe I don't go this Trinity Force. Maybe I get like you said, a Titanic Hydra, or like a Black Cleaver, or just something with a little more tankiness to it. You should be able to see like where you're going to be behind in certain spots. Like, oh, our team doesn't have any tankiness this game. I better sure that spot up. Or, we really don't have a good way to engage. Maybe I could get a Righteous Glory or something like that. Because you should always be able to figure out where your gold is best spent. Instead of just like, all right, every game I'm going. Well, that kind of falls in the category of 80 cards. Every game I'm going Infinity Edge, Static Shift, whatever. But yeah, that was my 2 cents there.
Okay, and Malphite.
Great armor stack, pretty standard. Merc Treads for the CC coming through from Ashe, Rammus, Renekton. He got an early Sunfire Cape. That's really good into the Renekton matchup because Renekton's constantly shoving you in, and as Malphite, your mana costs are a little bit higher, so having that Sunfire to counter push and then just eventually just win out trades against Renekton is really useful. Let's see. Did he go Frozen into Thormail? I think he did. That would make the most sense to me. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay. Overall, no qualms about this build either. It's a Malphite build. Pretty standard. Especially into all AD. You don't have to worry about building a Visage or anything like that.
Yeah. Let's see. On to Vayne. Vayne,
lots of gold, lots of items.
You did fine. There's not much too much I can criticize about what you're doing. You were playing safe and went aggressive when you needed to.
Yep. Got your upgraded trinket. That's good, especially with the income of gold you're having. Can spare 250 to get that. Home guards you probably didn't need. They were nowhere close to your base. Either Alacrities or Furors, especially on Vayne. You're kiting well, but you still want even more kite ability, so those are 2 really good enchantments. It just depends on if you feel like you can keep your autos up to keep Furor passive up, or if you just want the extra flat 15 move speed from Alacrity. Mm-hmm. It looks like you were going to go Guardian Angel. I actually would have gone QSS. I probably would have got QSS third. And this is the thing about when you're really far ahead as an 80 carry, you can keep building damage, but if you're still an 80 carry, you're still pretty squishy. If you ever get picked, you're dead. GA won't stop that. You'll get the revive, but if you get picked, you're still going to die again. The thing with QSS is it'll let you get out of Rammus taunts. It can get rid of Zed ult, Renekton stun, Ashe stun. So I would have got it like maybe third item, because if you're so far ahead, you can get a defensive item early to guarantee that you won't die to any of these pick potential, bad mispositioning, or anything like that, because the other 80 carry is so far behind. Sure, it looks like you're even, but you're like 3 levels up, and you have a defensive item, so any advantages they could have had would have been gone. But once again, you were so far ahead, you still did very well. Anivia, you did well in the Zed lane for the most part. Standard build path, Anivia, not complaining about that. Boots was an interesting choice, but that's fine as well. Maybe gone Flask. You were poking Zed out pretty okay. The one thing I was going to say for you, though, make sure if Zed ever leaves, immediately ping it. Even if he just went to stand in a bush, ping if he's gone. Your side lanes need to know if Zed goes anywhere, because Zed provides so much kill potential on the map if he roams, that the other lanes do need to be aware that, oh, he could have backed or he could be gone. He's gone. I just don't know where he is, so be careful. Maybe purchase a few more wards. Because it looks like you only had 2 and 2, or 2 and 4 visions. Actually, that's pretty okay. I was looking at the wrong champion. That's fine. You used your trinket well, for the most part when you did. But always, it doesn't hurt to always have an extra ward in your inventory on the back. And Braum, finally. You placed your ults pretty well. You were separating the team, making sure Vayne could get their targets, and you kited back very well as well with your Qs. Standard build. Zeke's is very good in this case because you were getting a ton of assist gold. There was no reason for you to... That was a late Zeke's. I thought it was earlier than that. That's fine still.
Yeah.
Righteous Glory as well. More kiting potential, more engaged potential. Just helping that Vayne skid around the map. And let's see. It looks like you were going to... Yep, got Zeke's and then probably getting Randuin's. That's fine too. Any comments for the bot lane?
For the bot lane for Vayne Braum, not too much. Build's fine for Braum. I've got no complaints there. Upgraded trinket, great. Did a good job just being Braum, which is really important when you're dealing with a team composition and you have a fed Vayne. Like that's your ideal situations. You've got a Braum with a good shield, so you did great there. I've got no huge issues in that at all. I would say. Yeah, no, everything's fine. Like, Righteous Glory, I don't know if you necessarily needed Righteous Glory. It was one of those sort of, it's nice to have, so no big deal there.
User left your channel.
But besides that, yeah, no, he did good.
Right. Now, red team. Alright, Zed, you were playing the well lane. You were playing the lane well, for the most part early. You were pushing that Anivia up. You were getting off the sidelines, trying to make some roams happen. The thing that let's see if it'll pull up, I have a issue with here. You were really far behind, and then you sold your Maw.
Yep.
We went over this a little bit. Just make sure if you get items, keep them. And even your Doran's items, you want to keep those around until like you absolutely are like on your 5th item, your very last item.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to get more gold value out of just keeping that instead of selling it and trying to pick up looks like you try to pick up a late Infinity Edge. So now instead of having like Bork, Maw, and then maybe working into like pieces of an Infinity Edge, you just have Infinity Edge Blade, which isn't as strong. You were purchasing a lot of wards, it looks like. Getting them on... Well, yeah. The thing with my mid laners especially... on first back, I want to make sure I can at least buy a ward, along with whatever else I'm building. So maybe instead of getting boots there on your first back, pick up like a green ward and a pink. That way, your pink will last if you put in a good spot, even if it's like the top by your red side, by red buff. Put a pink up there, especially if Udyr is going to try and counter jungle. That's a good spot for your pink, and it'll stay around a while, and also protect your flank in case Malphite tries to roam down or Udyr tries to loop around. And then I don't know about the early home guards there. You were getting shoved out of lane, yes, but it's probably better just to finish getting closer to your other items and just stack up on pots if you're having problems in lane, rather than just getting home guards there. That's a lot of gold that isn't going to combat stats. And early on as Zed, you need your long swords, your Vamp Scepter, your Bilgewater, things like that to be effective, so you can, when you do ding 6 or when you get to like 7, level 8, your kill pressure is that much higher. Whereas Murktread's like, alright, I'm not stunned for as long, that's great, but now I don't do any damage anyway. And Home Guard just kind of adds on that. I can run back to lane, but I don't do anything when I'm in lane.
I'd also say too, as opposed to just keeping on that totem trinket, I'd get a sweeper. Especially as said, if you're looking to flank, you need to know if you're walking through a warded area. So I would definitely get a sweeper early on, especially if you're looking to roam. Like all assassins, like vision denial is really important, and if they don't see you coming, that's all the better for when you can pull up that flank. So I would say once you go back and you get that big buy and you've got level 6, I would have that sweeper ready to go. That way your roam's a little bit more effective, as opposed to earlier on we saw you and Rammus kind of just sitting in a bush, kind of just on a ward, chilling, not knowing. You're just like, huh, they're acting like they know we're here. I think we'll just hang out for a while. So,
Redactin, got an early lead. You were up about 30 CS, which is what Renekton usually does, especially in a weaker laner like Malphite. You got your early Tiamat, you're shoving in. You had a good TP play early where you TP'd in way before the or actually you TP'd late in that fight. I take that back. Your TPs could have been a little bit more on point, especially if you see like a Malphite TP in. You probably should TP in just to back your team up. You did, but it was just a little bit late, and that turned out okay in that instance. Looks like you went Tiamat into Cleaver into Boots, Home Guard, then you finished Titanic. I think when the game started snowballing out of control, you probably shouldn't have finished Titanic. You should have started working on your core armor items. Randuin's would have been really good here. Because your team is going to be a little bit shorter on damage, but nobody can deal with this Vayne, and nobody else really has the tankiness to even try and get to the Vayne. So instead of spending the extra, 1,400 to finish Titanic Hydra, just go ahead and scale that into like a cloth armor and a giant's belt, or Warden's mail and a ruby crystal, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take Blitzcrank?
Yeah, I can talk about Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank, your build's pretty much on point for what you were dealing with. I would really like to see a sweeper from you. Normal's pretty much your go-to pickups when you go back to base for your Sightstone. Right off the bat, you want to get a sweeper for the exact reasons I was stating earlier. Was that you need to know what wards you're on, especially like Blitzcrank's another one of those champions where areas without vision are your best friend, and if you can deny the vision for your enemy team, they can't go anywhere. Like if you're Blitzcrank and you've got a cleared out area of the jungle for yourself and for your team, and the enemy team doesn't know what's there, they can't face check that because you're just going to throw one of your amazing hooks and, oh, hey, we just got to pick on Vayne. Isn't that awesome? We did a team. Good job. Good job. So you want to have a sweeper. You want to have that upgrade. You want to place pink wards. You want to deny vision. In this particular game, would that have mattered a whole lot? Not necessarily, but it's good moving forward to have sort of that vision denial mindset going on, because you're doing two things as a support. You want to make sure you're establishing good vision control so you know what's going on around the map, and you want to try and black out areas around objectives like dragon, towers, etc., etc. So that sweeper is really important in that regard. So you want to just get in that habit, go Sightstone, switch to sweeper. Unless you planned on upgrading to upgraded pink trinket, which I don't necessarily agree with on the support, because you can just buy pink wards, and those are always going to be useful in your inventory. Going for that. But other than that, your build's fine. You went Frozen Heart, which you kind of need as Blitzcrank. It gives you mana, CDR, all the things you want. You were going Aegis into most likely Locket, which would have been great once that got completed, but unfortunately the game didn't go that long. So your build's pretty much on point aside from those other things. Your hooks were good. I would also recommend, you don't always have to use hook. You don't always have to pick fights. If your ADC's behind, like Ashe unfortunately had a DC issue and got early first blooded, you want to use that hook more as a off sort of disengage tool, because if you kept picking fights and Ashe just wasn't able to contribute any damage because she was behind in level, so you just have to wait a little while. I know it's hard because you really want to try and get that lane reset and set back together, but you got to give Ashe some time to get a few levels in. That way the level discrepancy isn't as severe, because I think early on it was like Vayne was 3 to Ashe's 1, and that's not going to give Ashe, like, Ashe can't do anything. She's going to auto attack. She's behind, so you got to give her that time to get caught up before you start throwing hooks like that. And other than that, you did pretty good.
Yep. Let's see. And then Rammus. Said it once. Said it twice. Probably said it like 7 times. Just, you don't need to go super hard. You don't have to constantly run at the Vayne when you're just giving her free damage and you're not going to get to her. The best thing you could have done in those team fights, or even those ganks, is just peel. And I know that's hard as a Rammus. You're like, I'm going to powerball, I'm going to get behind him, I'm going to taunt, and we're going to kill him. But Vayne was so far ahead that you just couldn't get there. And you were spending so much time bot lane that once Malphite started being able to deal with the Renekton started getting ganked by Udyr and dying. So you have to be aware that, sure, the big thing with junglers is that when a lane is losing, it seems counterintuitive. The worst thing you can do is constantly pay attention to that lane, because If that lane's ahead, they're most likely going to be able to 2v3 you, or if their jungler's there, it's going to be a straight 3v3, and you're going to lose that because the duo's ahead. So while it may seem like, oh man, I'm leaving my bot lane to just get murdered by this Vayne, you could help that out by ganking the Anivia, ganking the Malphite, creating pressure elsewhere on the map so your other two lanes don't fall behind because this Vayne is like drawing in all this attention from you, from mid lane, from top lane TPs, and just getting all these kills. Focus on the other parts of the map and just tell bot lane, sorry, you guys got to farm out, play safe. Build path, you didn't finish your jungle item. Finish your jungle item first. I know you wanted Frozen Heart for the armor, for your passive, for all that other stuff. Finish your jungle item. Cinder Hulk's going to help you do passive damage. It's magic damage, which is your team is lacking in. And it also helps you clear your camps a little bit faster because you don't have the best clear as Rammus either.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went into Righteous Glory. I don't know how much that was going to help you because it's flat HP and mana, but it only gives you the move speed if you're running at them. And Rammus, you want to run at them, except in this case when you're behind 20k and you can't run at them because Braum, Anivia, and Vayne can just kite you out forever. So maybe something along the lines of a Randuin's again, Thornmail, things like that. That would have helped you out with that. But that's all I have for the Rammus.
Yeah, I think a lot from what I was seeing in that game was just Rammus was like, I need to make a play bot lane. I need to get them set. I need to get them back in this game. And while that's all fine and good, you guys have to coordinate the play out. You have Rammus, you have Blitzcrank, you have a Nash. You guys have more than enough CC to lock down Vayne long enough to do what you need to do to get a kill. But
which is credit to Braum. Braum is cutting off most of that. He's jumping in front of hooks. He's blocking the Ashe arrow. So good on him, but yeah, I agree. You guys need to coordinate that a little bit more.
True, yeah, and there's a lot of times where like we would just see Ashe like arrow, and then Blitzcrank's kind of just under tower going, should I go in or do I powerball here? Or
I think you mean Rammus there, but yeah,
gotta commit. You use Smart Ping. Smart Ping is like a great tool. It's like I'm on my way. I'm going. This is where I'm going. I'm going to go after Vayne. And don't overcommit. Like that was a big thing that we saw in this game was just the overcommit. We got to get kills. No. If you're behind, getting kills isn't going to get back in the game. It's smart farm and playing properly. Like, you guys got to farm it out. That was what was really putting you guys behind, because you guys were chasing kills in the meantime. They're just like, well, we're just going to keep running and then kill you. So you got to make sure you guys are farming lanes and you're keeping up in CS.
And last but not least, Ashe. Unfortunate with the DC thing early, but this is like solo queue. It does happen. You did come back well right after that, picking up a kill early after you just died. You didn't burn any of your summoners. Mm-hmm. You saw that you were dead anyway, so burning flash wasn't going to help you much. But after that, what do you think about the Ashe there?
You were behind. You were working in the best situations you could. Farming's kind of was going to be the most important thing you can do. You were dealing with a situation where Blitzcrank was picking a lot of fights, but you got to farm and you just got to try and just get back in the game. Your build itemization, you went, I believe, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, and you're going into a Blade of the Rune King. I think at that point you're all in it to win it. I don't think Bork would have been the best buy at that point because I don't think it's going to save you in that situation, but having a situation where you're disconnected or you're lagged and you get killed off lag sucks. Yeah. Your best bet is just to farm as safe as you can and just keep farming. And at a point, if you know you can't fight the enemy team and like they're going to dive you under tower, best thing you can do at that point is just give up tower, let the lane shove, and then just safe farm and freeze that lane. Make sure that you're not pushing it your last hit, only hitting minions the last hit. Don't keep shoving. A big reaction I see a lot of ADCs do when they're in a situation where they're behind is they want to shove the lane. You don't always have to shove the lane. Let it freeze. Sit on the farm for a while. That's more important than anything else. If you could deny farm and let Rammus get chance to actually gank a lane pretty effectively and forcing them to burn flashes. That changes the scope of the game. But if you walk back in the lane after you've been killed and you just start shoving, you're putting yourself at risk again, especially if you've burned summoners. You don't want to do that. You want to just sit there, just last hit the minion, just last hit. Winning lane doesn't mean killing the tower. Winning lane means you have more gold than your opponent. And how you achieve that, you have to kind of, make sure you're using best judgment on that.
Well, it's for providing pressure on other lanes, getting kills there by roaming, or if it's freezing the lane and denying minions. You can win lane through pushing tower, you can win lane by just killing them a bunch, but there's a multitude of ways you can get that extra gold. It really is just circumstance dependent. Any final thoughts then for this one?
No. I would say, if I were to make a point on this game in particular, don't overcommit to something. Just play smart. Don't keep trying to chase kills. Get farm, do objectives, ward out, do all the smart stuff. If the more you try and overextend to try and make something #worth, you're just going to keep throwing the game further and further away.
Yep. I will concur with those statements.
All right, we're going to go ahead and pause the stream one last time, and then we'll be setting up for round 3 here at Bronze Bootcamp. We will see you all